Listen carefully, because this is not just another message. This is not empty inspiration. This is the truth about life itself, the truth that separates the great from the forgotten, the rich from the poor, the fulfilled from the frustrated. You become what you believe, not what you wish for, not what you casually hope for when life gets hard. You become only and exactly what you believe deep inside your soul. Every empire, every fortune, every miracle of human achievement started with one thing, a belief so strong it refused to die. Look through history. Henry Ford believed when the world laughed at the horseless carriage. Edison believed when he failed 1,000 times in the dark before light ever appeared. Abraham Lincoln believed when he lost election after election, until destiny finally carried him to the presidency. Belief is the root of destiny. Without it, you are a leaf blowing in the storm, controlled by the circumstance. With it, you are the storm itself. Understand this. Your belief is a blueprint. It is the architect of your future. What you hold in the silent chambers of your mind will, sooner or later, walk into your life. If you believe you are weak, life will serve you chains. If you believe you are strong, life will kneel before your vision. Most people never understand this. They look at their current conditions and call it reality. They say, I am broke, I am stuck, I am unlucky, I am not meant for greatness. And because they believe it, they live it. They reinforce it every single day until their very identity becomes a prison. But the rare few, the ones who rise, the ones who leave their names in the pages of history, they believe something different. They carry a secret fire that whispers, I am more than my circumstances. I am more than my failures. I am more than my past. That fire is belief, and belief, when fed with discipline and action, transforms into reality. Think of it. Every invention you see, every skyscraper, every airplane, every work of art, every scientific breakthrough, once existed as nothing but a fragile belief in one person's mind. Without belief, none of it would exist. Without belief, humanity would still be hiding in caves, afraid of the night. So let me ask you, what do you believe about yourself, right now? Not tomorrow, not someday when life gets easier. Right now. Do you believe you are capable of greatness? Do you believe you can command wealth, purpose, joy, and influence? Or do you believe you are condemned to struggle endlessly, hoping for scraps? Because life, like an unerring mirror, reflects exactly what you believe. Not 1 ounce more, not 1 ounce less. And belief is not built on words. It is not chanting affirmations you don't truly feel. Belief is conviction. Belief is carved into your nervous system by repeated thought, by vision, by persistence, by proof you demand from yourself every single day. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." That is not poetry. That is law, as real as gravity, as sharp as steel. If your mind conceives it and you truly believe it, then it must become reality. The tragedy is, most people never dare to conceive. They never dare to believe. They choose small dreams, small goals, because smallness is safe. And then they wonder why their lives feel empty. But you are here, listening to these words because something inside you refuses to accept an average life. Something inside you knows that your future depends not on luck, not on chance, but on the beliefs you choose today. So I challenge you. Stop bowing to fear. Stop rehearsing your failures in your head. Stop believing that you are not enough. Those are lies, planted by a world that wants you obedient, not powerful. Choose a greater belief. Believe that your vision matters. Believe that your persistence will pay. Believe that wealth, health, happiness, and freedom are not only possible but inevitable when you align your mind and your actions with unwavering conviction. Because once belief takes root, discipline becomes natural, action becomes inevitable, and results become unstoppable. You become what you believe. You become what you believe. But belief without clarity is like fire without direction. It burns wildly, but it does not build. To shape destiny, your belief must crystallize into vision. A man without vision is a wanderer. He may have energy, he may have desire, but without a target, his strength is wasted in 1,000 scattered directions. Look at the lives around. Countless people working harder than ever, yet going nowhere. Why? Because they lack a clear picture of where going. Clarity is power. Vision is the North Star. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men who ever lived, once said that he owed his fortune not to talent or luck, but to the definiteness of purpose. He knew what he wanted, and because he knew, the world bent itself to and that is the tragedy of the masses. They never dare to decide. They live by default, not by design. They drift, hoping life will hand them something better, but hope without decision is nothing but illusion. So if you want to rise, if you want to claim your place among the few who shape history rather than those who are shaped by it, you must choose. You must carve your vision so sharply in your mind that it burns into every thought, every action, every heartbeat. Do not say, "I want success." That is a wish, not a vision. Say instead, "I will build wealth through creating value in this specific way. I will live with discipline. I will master my craft. I will serve humanity through this work." That is vision. That is definiteness of purpose. Understand, the mind is a builder, but it cannot build from fog. It requires a blueprint. And when your vision is clear, belief becomes unshakable. You no longer waste time doubting whether it's possible because you have already seen it in your mind. This is what separates the leaders from the followers, the creators from the imitators. Walt Disney stood in an empty swamp in Florida and believed he saw castles, kingdoms, and dreams made real. To everyone else, it was mud and mosquitoes. To him, it was destiny waiting to be born. And because his vision was clear, the world now walks inside his imagination. What about you? What swamp are you standing in that others call impossible? What dream lies dormant in your soul, waiting for your decision to breathe life into it? Do not wait for permission. The world will never hand you a certificate that says, "Now you may believe, now you may build." It will laugh at you, it will resist you, it will test you. But that is the nature of greatness. It demands proof, and proof comes through discipline. Belief is the spark. Vision is the blueprint. But discipline is the hammer that strikes day after day until the dream is built in stone. You cannot claim greatness with a lazy spirit. You cannot demand success while clinging to comfort. Discipline is sacrifice. It is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It is training your mind and body to obey your higher self instead of your weaker impulses. Think of Thomas Edison, failing thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He was not powered by talent alone. He was powered by disciplined persistence, a refusal to quit, a belief so deeply ingrained that every failure was only fuel. And that is what most people do not understand. They see discipline as chains. But the truth is, discipline is freedom. Freedom from mediocrity. Freedom from regret. Freedom from the slow suffocation of wasted potential. When you are disciplined, you rise at dawn with purpose. You master your craft while others are distracted. You keep your promises when others break theirs. And slowly, silently, day by day, you transform. At first, the results are invisible. But just as a seed grows unseen beneath the soil before breaking the surface, your discipline builds roots beneath the surface of your life. And then one day, the world will call you lucky, not realizing you built your fortune in the dark, brick by brick, long before the spotlight ever touched you. So I ask you again, what do you believe? Do you believe enough to define your vision? Do you believe enough to discipline yourself? To do what must be done when no one is watching? Because belief without vision is a dream. Vision without discipline is a wish. But belief, vision, and discipline united, that is destiny. You become what you believe. But discipline alone is not enough. Because no matter how clear your vision, no matter how fierce your work ethic, storms will come. Life will test you. The ground will shake beneath your feet. And in those moments when nothing seems to work, when every door slams shut, there is only one thing that will carry you through: faith. Faith is the fuel that keeps belief alive when the evidence around you screams otherwise. Faith is what allows you to walk through the desert before you ever see the oasis. It is the quiet, unshakable knowing that the vision within you is more real than the obstacles before you. Look back at the giants of history. Abraham Lincoln was crushed by defeat after defeat. He lost elections. He lost loved ones. He was told by the world he was finished. But he carried faith like a torch through darkness until destiny itself bowed to him. Edison had faith when the world laughed at his 1,000 failures. Ford had faith when he declared he would mass-produce automobiles and was called insane. Oprah Winfrey had faith when she was told she didn't belong on television. Faith is the bridge between discipline and destiny. Without it, every setback feels fatal. With it, every setback becomes fuel. But understand, faith is not blind hope. It is not sitting idle, praying for miracles while refusing to act. True faith is active. It is belief in motion. It is waking up at dawn with fire in your chest, even when results have not yet appeared. It is persistent. Persistence is the twin brother of faith. Faith whispers, "It is possible." Persistence shouts, "And I will never stop until it's mine." Think of a river carving a canyon. It does not break through rock by force, but by persistence, drop after drop, year after year. Most men give up after 1 failure, 2 failures, 3 failures. But the ones who shape history, the ones who write their names in the sky, they persist until the rock breaks, until the mountain moves. Napoleon Hill himself said that persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. Without it, you are soft, easily bent, easily broken. With it, you are unyielding. So ask yourself, how many times have you given up? How many dreams have you buried because the path was longer, harder, more uncertain than you imagined? And how many more will you bury if you do not cultivate persistence? The truth is harsh. Most people quit just steps before the breakthrough. They surrender in the final round, when victory was waiting just beyond the next effort. Do not be that person. Train persistence like a muscle. Refuse to quit. Refuse to bow. Refuse to let temporary defeat become permanent failure. And when the world changes, as it always does, learn to adapt. Adaptability is the armor of the successful. Life will not unfold according to your script. Plans will collapse. Markets will shift. People will betray you. The question is not whether these storms will come, but whether you will bend or break. Charles Darwin did not say the strongest survive. He said the most adaptable survive. Look at history. Companies, nations, entire empires crumbled not because they were weak, but because they refused to adapt. They clung to the past while the future marched on without them. So do not fear change. Do not resist it. Harness it. See it as proof that you are alive, that you are being forged into someone stronger. Adaptation is not betrayal of your vision. It is the evolution of your methods. Yet through all of this, belief, vision, discipline, faith, persistence, adaptability, there is one more secret the wise never forget: gratitude. Gratitude transforms the struggle. Gratitude turns pain into fuel, setbacks into lessons, small victories into stepping stones. Without gratitude, even the richest life feels empty. With it, even the hardest climb feels sacred. Andrew Carnegie, when asked about his fortune, often spoke not of money, but of gratitude. Gratitude for the men who worked beside him. Gratitude for the opportunities disguised as difficulties. Gratitude keeps your spirit clean. It keeps envy from poisoning your heart. It reminds you that success is not a destination, but a journey. And every step, even the painful ones, are gifts in disguise. And so, when you rise each day, give thanks. Give thanks for the breath in your lungs, for the strength in your body, for the vision in your mind, for the fire in your heart. Give thanks not because life is perfect, but because gratitude itself multiplies blessings. For what you focus on expands. Believe in lack, and lack will grow. Believe in abundance, and abundance will flood your life. And when gratitude and belief merge, resilience is born. Resilience is the refusal to die. It is standing tall after defeat, smiling in the face of betrayal, walking forward when your legs tremble. It is the spirit of every great soul who ever lived. It is why men like Nelson Mandela endured decades in a prison cell and still emerged free in spirit. Resilience is the heartbeat of greatness. And when it flows through you, nothing, not failure, not rejection, not tragedy, can keep you down. Because you become what you believe. And if you believe you cannot be broken, then you will rise again and again and again until the world itself bends to your will. Resilience without self-mastery is like a warrior without a sword. If you cannot master yourself, the world will master you. If you cannot control your emotions, your habits, your impulses, then belief and vision remain trapped inside an undisciplined vessel. The greatest battlefield you will ever face is not out there. It is in here, within your own mind, within your own heart. The war is not against competitors, not against critics, not against circumstances. The war is against your low self, the self that craves comfort, that seeks excuses, that whispers lies of limitation. Understand this. The weak man waits for the world to change. The strong man changes himself. The masterful man bends his own nature to obey his higher calling. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled not only nations but his own mind, writing to himself in the dead of night about discipline, about virtue, about controlling his thoughts when temptation pulled at him. Think of Napoleon Hill himself, who taught not only wealth creation but mind control, the command of thoughts, because thoughts are seeds, and seeds grow into destiny. If you cannot command your own thinking, you are a slave to moods, a slave to doubt, a slave to distractions. But when you master your mind, you hold the keys to the universe. Self-mastery begins with awareness. Watch yourself. Notice your thoughts, your habits, your tendencies. Do not drift unconsciously. The average man lives as if hypnotized, repeating patterns, reacting like a machine. But you must wake up. Break the trance. Ask, why do I do what I do? Does this habit serve my vision? Does this thought fuel my belief? Then cut ruthlessly. Eliminate what weakens you. Build what strengthens you. Replace addiction with discipline, laziness with energy, fear with faith. Day by day, choice by choice, you forge yourself into a master. And when self-mastery joins vision and belief, purpose ignites. Purpose is the compass of the soul. Without it, life feels hollow, no matter how rich, no matter how comfortable. But with purpose, even struggle feels sacred. Even pain feels meaningful. Purpose is not luxury. It is necessity. It is oxygen for the spirit. And when you find it, life transforms. Do not ask, what will make me money? Ask, what makes me come alive? What would I give my life to build? What pain? World demands my strength to heal? Because purpose is not found in comfort. It is found where your passion meets humanity's need. Carnegie built steel not for profit alone, but to fuel an industrial age. Edison lit the world not for wealth, but because he could not stand darkness. Jobs created technology not for gadgets, but to empower creativity. Your purpose is waiting. It hides not in idle wishes, but in the fire that keeps returning no matter how many times you try to ignore it. That dream, that obsession, that vision, that is your calling. And when you answer, when you align your beliefs with your purpose, you become unstoppable. And purpose leads to wealth. Yes, wealth. Do not shy away from the word. Do not let false humility rob you of what is yours by divine right. Wealth is not greed. Wealth is abundance. Wealth is the fruit of value created, discipline maintained, service multiplied. Poverty is not virtue. It is a curse born of small beliefs. Wealth, when pursued with integrity, is freedom. It is power to serve, to create, to elevate others. But wealth begins in the mind. If you believe money is evil, money will flee from you. If you believe riches are impossible, they will remain so. But if you believe money is energy, a tool, a servant to amplify your vision, it will flow. Look again at history. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford. These men were not born rich. They were born with beliefs about wealth. They trained their minds to see opportunity where others saw impossibility. They believed riches were theirs to claim, and because they believed, they received. You cannot attract what you despise. You cannot receive what you secretly reject. So shift your beliefs. See money as a friend, not an enemy. See wealth as a reward for service, not as theft from others. Because here is the law. You become what you believe. Believe in scarcity, and scarcity multiplies. Believe in abundance, and abundance floods your life. And at the heart of abundance lies imagination. Imagination is the workshop of belief. It is where thoughts become images, where images become plans, where plans become reality. Every empire, every fortune, every masterpiece first lived in imagination. Einstein once said that imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge is limited to what is, while imagination embraces what can be. So dare to imagine. Close your eyes and see the life you crave as if it already exists. Feel it, walk in it, breathe in it. The mind cannot distinguish vividly imagined experience from reality, and what the mind accepts as real, the body and the world move to create. Do not waste imagination on fear. Do not spend your mental cinema replaying failures. That is faith in reverse. That is belief in disaster. Instead, flood your imagination with vision. Build castles, fortunes, legacies in the unseen world. Then bring them forth into the seen. This is the secret the average man mocks, but the great man masters. Imagination is creation. But imagination without courage is nothing more than fantasy. The world is filled with dreamers who never dared. Men and women who built empires in their minds but crumbled at the first whisper of doubt. Understand this. Every vision will demand sacrifice. Every dream will test courage. If belief is the seed, courage is the water that keeps it alive. Look at the giants of history. Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, lost elections, battled depression, yet he rose because courage pushed him forward when logic told him to quit. Thomas Edison, mocked and ridiculed after 10,000 failed experiments, pressed on with courage until light burst forth from his laboratory. Henry Ford, bankrupt 5 times before building an industry, stood firm with courage that defied ridicule. Do not think your path will be easier. The higher your calling, the stronger the resistance. The world will doubt you, friends may abandon you, family may misunderstand you. There will be nights of loneliness, mornings of fear, days of exhaustion where quitting whispers like a siren in your ear. But hear this truth. The dream does not die unless you let it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in spite of fear. Courage is faith in motion. And courage requires sacrifice. You cannot clutch comfort and greatness at the same time. One must die for the other to live. Sacrifice is the price of all transformation. Think of the farmer. He sacrifices his seed, burying it in cold earth, trusting that life will rise. The athlete sacrifices ease, submitting to pain and sweat so victory may come. The visionary sacrifices the approval of the crowd to obey the whisper of destiny. So ask yourself, what are you willing to lay down? What distractions must you bury? What habits must you kill? What comfort must you trade for the fire of achievement? Because belief alone is not enough. Belief must be proved in the furnace of action, and action requires mastery of time. Time is the currency of life, the one resource no man can multiply. Yet most spend it carelessly, as if it were infinite. They waste hours in distraction, in gossip, in idleness, then wonder why life feels empty. But the masters? They guard their hours as misers guard gold. They understand that each day is a fortune, each morning a fresh investment. Benjamin Franklin said it best. Do you love life? Then do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of. To master your time, you must mind like a lens. Scattered, it burns nothing. Focused, it ignites fire. When you channel your hours into purposeful action, results multiply. This is why rituals matter. Win the morning, and you set the rhythm for the day. Begin with intention, with clarity, with discipline, and the hours that follow obey aimlessly, and the day enslaves you. The world will pull at you. Distractions, demands, emergencies, but you must decide. Will you live reactively, pulled by others, or proactively, guided by vision? Master your time, and you master your destiny. And destiny is never selfish. True greatness is not measured by what you keep, but by what you give. Service is the hidden law of success. Every fortune, every legacy, every kingdom stands upon service. The man who serves 10 becomes valuable. The man who serves 10 becomes valuable. The man who serves thousands becomes wealthy. The man who serves millions becomes immortal. Andrew Carnegie said that a man who dies rich dies disgraced. For wealth hoarded is wasted, but wealth circulated blesses generations. Napoleon Hill himself taught that riches flow toward those who create value, who solve problems, who improve lives. Service multiplies success. When you give, you grow. When you contribute, you connect to something larger than yourself. And paradoxically, it is in giving that you receive. Ask not, how can I get more? Ask, how can I give more? Because life is a mirror. It reflects what you send. Pour value, pour kindness, pour vision into the world, and it will return multiplied, pressed down and overflowing. And when belief fuels courage, when sacrifice strengthens discipline, when time is mastered, and service becomes your heartbeat, then resilience becomes your nature. Resilience is the rising again and again, no matter how many times you fall. It is the secret thread woven through every story of greatness. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his chicken recipe. Each of them had excuses to surrender. Each of them could have accepted defeat. But resilience is not built in moments of ease. It is forged in fire. It is hammered on the anvil of adversity. Every setback is not the end, but preparation. Every obstacle is not punishment, but shaping. Life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. When others see failure, the resilient see feedback. When others collapse under pressure, the resilient like a muscle, resilience grows. So do not curse the struggle. Thank it. Bless the storm, for it reveals your strength. Bless the fall, for it teaches you to rise. Bless the pain, for it proves you are alive and capable of transformation. Because in the end, you become what you believe. And if you believe you are unbreakable, life cannot defeat you. Gratitude, the forgotten power, the silent multiplier of every blessing. Success with clenched fists, never realizing that the key was open hands all along. Gratitude is not passive. It is the active recognition of abundance in every moment. And when you recognize abundance, more flows to you. Think of it. How can the universe entrust more to someone who despises what he already has? How can wealth expand in a heart that curses its poverty, the ordinary into extraordinary? The man who wakes and says, "Thank you for this day. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for the strength still left in me." That man is richer than the billionaire who cannot see beyond his hunger. And here lies a secret. Gratitude is magnetic. It shifts your vibration. It trains your eyes to see opportunity where others see emptiness. It calms the mind, sharpens the spirit, and unlocks peace in the middle of chaos. But gratitude must be paired with vision, for what good is contentment if it lulls you into complacency? You are meant to be grateful, yes, but never stagnant. Grateful for what you have, hungry for what you can become. This is the paradox that unlocks greatness. Vision is the compass of destiny. Without it, you drift. With it, you march with precision. Vision paints tomorrow on the canvas of today. It is the bridge between belief and achievement. Every builder, every pioneer, every revolutionary was first a visionary. They saw what was not yet real, and they held it with such conviction that reality had no choice but to bow. Close your eyes now and imagine your highest self. See it in detail. Your work, your body, your relationships, your wealth, your influence. See it as vividly as you see this moment. Because what you can see, you can seize, and what you cannot see, you cannot hold. Do not let the world write your vision. Do not let society dictate the limits of your imagination. If Walt Disney had listened to critics, the world would never have tasted the magic of his kingdom. If Steve Jobs had listened to skeptics, our pockets would not carry the gateways to endless possibility. Visionaries rewrite reality. But vision without discipline is delusion. Discipline is the skeleton of success, the invisible structure that holds dreams upright. Without it, imagination collapses under the weight of laziness. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not applauded. It is not comfortable. Discipline is waking it down when your body screams to sleep. Discipline is saying no to temptation when every cell in you. Discipline is sitting at the desk, doing the work, building the brick, perfecting the craft, day after day after day, long after the excitement has died. Yet discipline is freedom. The undisciplined man is a slave to moods, to impulses, to distractions. The disciplined man is a master of his body, his mind, his future, and every act of discipline compounds. Like drops of water, sparks igniting flame, discipline builds momentum until it becomes unstoppable. Momentum, the force that carries you past resistance. Once in motion, your habits become identity, your actions become instinct, your destiny becomes inevitable. This is why the first step matters, because one step leads to two, and two lead to 100, and 100 lead to a life transformed. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for inspiration. Begin. Begin when you are tired. Begin when you are Begin when you are tired. Begin when you are afraid. Begin when you are unprepared. Action breeds clarity. Action breeds confidence. Action breeds belief. And once you act, you will discover the truth. Napoleon Hill wrote a century ago, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief must not stop with you. You were not born merely to live, work, earn, and die. You were born to impact, to awaken others, to light torches from your flame. Your greatness is not in what you accumulate, but in what you inspire. The wealthiest souls are not those with the most, but those who set fire to the hearts of others, who leave behind legacies that ripple for generations. Ask yourself, when my time is over, what will remain? A bank account? A house? A name forgotten? Or will I leave a trail of transformed lives, a story that will outlive my bones, a spark that will set future generations ablaze? Do not underestimate your ripple. A single candle can ignite 1,000 without losing its flame. One act of courage, one word of belief, one moment of resilience can echo across centuries. This is the call of destiny, not just to succeed, but to serve. Not just to rise, but to raise others. Not just to believe, but to become proof of belief. And so, I leave you with this truth. You are more powerful than you think. The limits you see are illusions. The doubts you feel are lies. The failures behind you are not graves. They are stepping stones. Stand tall. Lift your chin. Let your heart. You become what you believe. So believe in greatness, believe in discipline, believe in resilience, believe in purpose, believe in burn again. Believe so deeply that the world bends to your faith. Believe so fiercely that no storm can quench your fire. Believe so boldly that your life becomes a living monument to the unstoppable power of the human spirit. Because in the end, you do not become what you wish. You do not become what you want. You become what you believe. So believe in greatness. Believe in discipline. Believe in resilience. Believe in purpose. Believe in the vision that burns in your soul. And when you do, the world will not only see your belief, it will be transformed.